If you're between 14 and 19 years old, listen carefully, because these years can either turn you into a completely different player or they can disappear while you stay the same as you've always been. Most players don't realize this, but the habits you build right now will decide if you'll ever be good enough to stand out, or if you'll just be another kid who plays football on weekends and slowly fades away. And I know you've probably already heard all the usual advice: eat right, sleep more, practice your basics. Yeah, sure, those things matter, but if they were the real difference makers, then every single kid who trains and eats right would become a professional. But you know that's not true. So today, I want to give you something different. The things almost nobody talks about, the shortcuts that actually make you improve fast when you're still young enough to grow at lightning speed. And let me be honest with you from the start, what you're about to hear isn't always easy. Some of it will feel uncomfortable, some of it will even sound unfair, but that's the reality of football. If you want to grow faster than the players around you, you can't do the same boring things they're doing. You need to think differently, you need to act differently, and most importantly, you need to learn to see the game in a way most 14 to 19-year-olds can't. This might be one of the most underrated ways to improve fast in football, yet almost no one your age actually does it. It's the habit of watching yourself play brutally. Not just playing, not just feeling like you did well in a match or training, but actually recording yourself, watching it back, and seeing every tiny mistake in your body language, your movement, your decision making. Use it. Record 5 minutes of yourself playing and you'll instantly find things to fix that you never even knew were holding you back. Another thing almost nobody talks about: the speed of feedback is what decides how fast you grow. Most players train, make mistakes, and only correct them weeks later, maybe if a coach points it out. That's too slow. If you really want to improve fast, you need to shorten that feedback loop. You mess up a pass, replay it in your head instantly. You lost the ball in training. Stop for a second, ask yourself why. Did you not scan? Did you take too many touches? Did you panic? Don't wait for someone else to tell you. Fix it now. The faster you recognize a mistake, the faster you stop repeating it. That's why some players train for years but look the same, while others transform in a matter of months. And here's another truth nobody will tell you at this age. If you want to get good quickly, stop thinking about how much time you spend training. Hours don't matter as much as intensity. A lot of players brag, "I trained 4 hours today," but if half of that was jogging around, talking, doing drills without focus, it's worthless. What really makes you improve fast is small, intense bursts of quality. Even 20 minutes where you push yourself at full concentration can do more than 2 lazy hours. Think about it. In a match, everything happens at full speed. If you train slow, you'll always be shocked in games. But if you train short and sharp, your brain and body adapt to match intensity. This might surprise you, but one of the fastest ways to grow isn't even physical. It's how you see the game. Game IQ is the hidden skill that makes average players suddenly look elite. You've probably seen kids who aren't the fastest or most technical, but they always seem to be in the right spot, always one step ahead. That's not luck, that's game IQ. They've trained their brain to read situations. They know when the ball is about to be lost, when to drop back, when to make the run before the pass even comes. And the good news, you can train this faster than you think. Watch games differently. Don't just admire the goals or the tricks. Pause, rewind, ask yourself, why did he move there? Why did he pass backwards instead of forwards? Start thinking like a coach, not just a fan. If you do this consistently, your brain will start predicting things automatically in your own matches. But here's the trap most of you fall into. You try to copy everything from your favorite players. You watch Messi, Neymar, Mbappe and think, I need to dribble like that, shoot like that, sprint like that. The problem is, when you try to copy everything, you end up good at nothing. The real shortcut is becoming a shadow player. Choose 1 or 2 small traits from a player you admire and obsess over them. It could be Haaland's movement in the box, De Bruyne's scanning, Busquets' calmness under pressure. Study just that one detail and make it your weapon. When you perfect even one specific thing, suddenly coaches notice you. Suddenly defenders struggle against you. Football is not about being good at everything, it's about being dangerous at something. Now let me tell you something harsh. Most players your age fail not because they lack skill, but because they lack confidence when it matters. They freeze up in matches, play safe, hide from the ball. You'll never improve fast if you're too scared to make mistakes. Confidence isn't just about believing in yourself, it's about bouncing back the second you fail. Every pro makes mistakes, but they recover instantly. You give the ball away, you sprint to win it back. You miss a shot, you demand the ball again. When coaches see that mentality, they trust you more. And when you train yourself to stop fearing mistakes, your improvement speed doubles, because suddenly you're trying things, testing yourself, pushing the limits. There's also a whole side of football improvement that happens without even touching the ball. And if you're ignoring it, you're missing one of the fastest ways to level up. I'm talking about awareness. Scanning before receiving, reading body language of opponents, positioning yourself half a second earlier. You can practice this anywhere, in school, in the street, even at home. Look around you and try to predict what people will do next. Watch how they move, what their eyes focus on. The same habit on the pitch makes you one step ahead, which makes you look faster and smarter instantly. Improving without the ball is what turns you from an average player into one that controls the rhythm of the game. One of the fastest ways to separate yourself from every other teenager playing football is to understand intensity. Most of your age mates train like they're killing time, like they've got unlimited years ahead to figure it out. But you don't. The players who improve quickly are the ones who treat every single drill like it's a trial. Imagine a scout is watching you even when you're training alone. That mindset changes everything. You stop doing lazy touches, you stop walking between reps, you start squeezing the maximum quality out of every minute. And this is where people get it wrong. It's not about how long you trained today, it's about how sharp every rep was. 10 minutes of focused, high-energy training will always beat 2 hours of half-speed, distracted practice. Football doesn't reward who spends the most hours on the field, it rewards who adapts the fastest to match intensity. If you can make your training harder than the actual game, matches will start to feel slow, almost easy. That's how you build the gap between yourself and everyone else. Most teenagers waste years because they train skills in isolation, but never connect them to real situations. They'll dribble cones for hours, but as soon as a defender presses, their mind shuts down. Improvement comes fast when you flip this approach. Don't just practice moves, practice decisions. Instead of asking, how do I dribble like Neymar? Start asking, when should I dribble and when should I pass? That single shift will make your football brain grow quicker than any skill drill ever could. Think of football like a game of chess. The pieces are your skills, but if you don't know when to use them, they're useless. Start putting yourself in small game-like challenges. 2-touch finishing under pressure, one-on-one duels with limited space, scanning before every pass. The more you create chaos in training, the calmer you'll be in real games. And when you look calm while everyone else looks panicked, coaches notice. Here's another thing no one talks about at your age. Being dangerous in one area is better than being average in 10. So many players chase after every trend they see online. Knuckleball shots, elasticos, fancy tricks. But when they step into a match, they disappear because none of those skills are sharp enough to actually hurt the opponent. The fastest way to grow is to pick one weapon and build it until it's undeniable. If you're a striker, maybe it's near post finishing. If you're a midfielder, maybe it's scanning and quick passes. If you're a defender, maybe it's your timing and tackles. Once you own that weapon, defenders hate facing you, teammates trust you, and coaches build the team around you. Then, and only then, you add secondary skills. Improvement explodes when you stop trying to be everything and start trying to be something unforgettable. Confidence ties into this too, because no matter how much skill you build, it's useless if you don't dare to show it. A lot of players play like ghosts when pressure hits. They hide behind opponents, avoid the ball, or play safe passes just to survive. That's not football, that's fear. And fear kills improvement. If you want to grow fast, you need to train your brain to stay aggressive after every mistake. Miss a shot? Demand the next one. Lose the ball? Go win it back. Every time you bounce back quickly, you build mental muscles stronger than your physical ones. Coaches don't remember the mistake you made. They remember how you reacted after. If your reaction is fearless, you stand out immediately. And here's something you can start doing right now, outside the pitch, that will accelerate everything. Watch football with intent. Don't just enjoy the highlights or cheer for your favorite player. Study the small details that most fans never notice. Where did the midfielder position himself before the ball arrived? How did the winger create 2 meters of space before receiving? Why did the defender sprint early instead of waiting? Pause, rewind, analyze. If you do this regularly, your brain starts wiring patterns automatically. You won't even realize it, but in your own matches, you'll start making smarter decisions without thinking. That's what people call football IQ, and it's one of the only things you can double in speed if you train it deliberately. I see exactly what went wrong. I was circling the same ideas. Confidence, awareness, intensity, analysis. If you want to grow fast in football and actually stand out, you need to understand something most teenagers ignore. Football isn't just a physical game or a technical game, it's a psychological battlefield. The players who improve the fastest are the ones who treat every touch, every pass, every sprint as part of a mental challenge. Let me explain what that means. Imagine a match where nobody is watching. You're not worried about anyone, not about the coach, not about your friends, not even about scoring. Most players would just kick the ball around, but the ones who improve fast treat even a casual touch as a test. How fast can I think here? How precise can I move here? How much better can I be than I was yesterday? When you start treating every single moment on the pitch like a challenge against yourself, your improvement accelerates. One of the most underrated methods for growth is micro-competition, not competing against others in the usual way, but against yourself in tiny, measurable ways. For example, how quickly can you control and pass the ball 5 times without letting it bounce too far? How fast can you turn with the ball in tight space while maintaining balance? How many perfect touches can you make in 30 seconds under pressure? These small challenges force your brain and body to work together at a level most teenagers never reach in casual training, and the effect compounds. If you do this every single day, your coordination, reaction speed, and touch accuracy improve faster than just dribbling for fun or kicking around in training. Another key factor is the hidden rhythm of football. Most young players never notice it because they're too focused on running, passing, or scoring. But the best players in the world sense the rhythm of the game, the flow of passes, the tempo of the opponent, the spacing between players, the subtle timing when a ball will come into a dangerous position. You can practice rhythm without even touching the ball. Watch matches and focus only on tempo. Notice when teams speed up or slow down, how they create gaps, how the passing sequence opens or closes space. Once your brain understands rhythm, you'll move instinctively in games. You won't just react, you'll anticipate, and anticipation is the fastest way to dominate matches. There's also a hidden skill that most young players overlook: creating invisible pressure. What I mean by this is influencing the game without touching the ball. Think about it. How often do you see a top midfielder or striker moving, scanning, and shifting defenders without touching the ball, and suddenly their team has more space and options? This is a skill you can train anywhere. Practice moving in empty space while imagining defenders around you. Visualize gaps, runs, and passing lanes. Force yourself to scan constantly and make decisions before the ball comes to you. When you do this in training, it transfers directly to matches, and suddenly, your presence on the pitch changes the game even when you don't touch the ball. One of the fastest ways to improve technical skills that most teenagers ignore is mastering under pressure repetition. Instead of just practicing passing or shooting in empty space, force yourself into chaotic environments. Invite teammates or friends to close you down, simulate defenders, or even create artificial restrictions like limiting the number of touches. The difference between average and elite players isn't raw skill, it's performing skill under pressure. If you can consistently execute techniques when someone is challenging you, your improvement skyrockets. Most players fail here because they train easy drills thinking repetition alone is enough, but repetition under stress is what forges sharp instincts. Let's talk about movement patterns. Most young players think speed and agility are just about running faster or doing ladder drills. Wrong. Elite movement is about efficiency, anticipation, and angles. A great striker doesn't just sprint, they time runs perfectly to stay onside, shift defenders, and open space for teammates. A great midfielder doesn't just jog, they move in triangles, always giving options, closing down space, or creating overloads. You can practice these patterns alone. Walk through imagined scenarios in empty space, visualize defenders and teammates, and practice moving to the right position before the ball even arrives. These invisible movements are what separates players who look good in training from those who dominate real matches. Another factor most teenagers overlook is environmental adaptation. Most players train in predictable conditions. Same teammates, same pitches, same balls, same drills. If you want to grow fast, force yourself into variable environments. Train on uneven ground, with different sized balls, in tight spaces, or with different numbers of players. Each new environment forces your brain to adapt, react, and solve problems in real time. This kind of adaptability transfers directly to matches. It also builds resilience. You learn to perform under conditions nobody else has trained for, giving you an edge that can't be faked with physical talent alone. Now let's talk about anticipation in a way that most young players miss. Anticipation isn't just predicting where the ball will go. It's reading body language, understanding intentions, and noticing patterns. Watch a player's hips, the direction of their eyes, the tilt of their shoulders. These tiny cues happen before the action. When you train yourself to notice them, you can intercept passes, beat defenders, and find space before anyone else even reacts. You can practice this at home or in street games. Watch videos slowed down, focus on the cues, and imagine what you do. Then test it in small-sided games. Over time, your reaction becomes instinctive, and your improvement in real matches feels instant compared to your peers. Here's a secret that almost no teenager uses: deliberately creating discomfort in practice. Improvement rarely happens in comfort zones. If a drill feels easy, you're not growing fast. Force yourself to do things that make you struggle but are still achievable. Force yourself to finish shots with your weaker foot under pressure. Force yourself to dribble through defenders in tighter spaces than feels possible. Force yourself to pass blindfolded in small-sided games, imagining the teammates' positions. Your brain and body adapt faster in these uncomfortable situations, and suddenly normal matches feel easy. Most players never do this. They only train what feels safe, and that's why they stagnate. The way you control your emotions during games is also a hidden skill that accelerates improvement. Most teenagers react emotionally. A bad touch, a goal conceded, a tough tackle, and suddenly they're frozen or panicked. The fastest way to grow is learning to treat every situation as temporary. Accept mistakes instantly, reset mentally, and keep performing. Train your brain in practice. Simulate high-pressure situations and deliberately make mistakes, then practice recovering immediately. Over time, your mind stops collapsing after errors, and your overall game performance improves faster than any physical drill could. Another overlooked element is communication on the pitch. Young players often think it's just about passing and dribbling, but talking and signaling with teammates dramatically increases your speed of improvement. Players who constantly give instructions, call for passes, or signal movements develop a better understanding of positioning, timing, and teamwork. It also builds leadership qualities early, and coaches notice players who can organize others. You can practice this by playing small-sided games and forcing yourself to communicate constantly, even when mistakes happen.